Cool, man. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming out here. So you own your own business and you're a soccer coach and you coach elite athletes as well. So when you say elite athletes, what do you mean? Like professional level soccer players?
So I focus on mainly like from high school to college to professional level. So making that jump from like youth and kind of everyday and like recreation to travel into like getting paid for it and making it kind of your living. And that it means brand deals, and that means putting your name out there and creating a player profile and all sorts of things. So I help guys not only with on the field stuff, but also like off the field. So like helping them connect with pro guys and with agents and that kind of stuff. And in New Mexico, like we have a lot of talent, but we don't have a lot of guys that know how to get seen and know how to put themselves out there. And then as a market, we don't have a lot of guys coming to our market as well to like look for our players. And so we have to do an even better job of like showcasing ourselves, so that we can kind of compete with Southern California and Texas and North Carolina and the East Coast, and what can we do to put ourselves on that same level? So that's kind of my focus. I used to only do youth, and then I kind of made the jump into pros, and now I don't want to go back.
Yeah, I see it. So that transition space, that's something that we talk about a lot too, specifically like people who are up and coming entrepreneurs or small business owners and coaches and all that. Like going from high school to college and college to pro is like what your sweet spot is with the coaching business. And then you also coach like youth level sports, and they're kind of like separate, independent activities essentially. Like today you did 2 youth coaching sessions, as you called it.
Yep.
And they're indoor. That's pretty awesome. That I think, I got to admit, I'm not like, I don't follow soccer as closely as like football, for example. Like football is my favorite sport, but it does seem like, especially with United, like the team here, that it's growing in the state a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And across the country, and the World Cup is also helping that. Like World Cup's been great. Because you get everyday people that are now watching it just because it's in the United States and it's on TV all the time. And so they're able to like get into it, and maybe they haven't been into soccer and they haven't seen it. Maybe they played baseball and they're getting into it, and then they see kind of the competitiveness and what it is in the world sport, and then they fall in love, and then they become a fan, and then they want to go to United and they want to support. And then it kind of just creates that total community. And so it kind of fosters, I think the sport fosters a community aspect that's unlike any other sport, just because you don't need a field, you don't need a stadium. You can literally play on rocks, concrete with 4 guys and make goals with 2 shoes, and boom, you're playing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can play it anywhere. And so it's played in every country. And so it just, like, I've been to other countries where I didn't speak the same language, and I'm playing soccer with them, and I'm having a great time. And we can't speak any of the same words, but we're having a great time playing together.
It's like the sport is a universal language and it's in its own. That's a good point. It's like how simple it is that, you see people playing barefoot, just a ball.
Yep.
It brings people out.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, basketball and baseball is kind of similar too. I think of like how it started in New York, and you just strap a basket to the wall and you're good to go, and brings people together. At the United Games, it's cool because it's like there's an authentic New Mexican flair out there too. Like you hear the samba and like norteño rhythms and styles. And the chanting. We are united. And
and it's cool. And I think like New Mexico's been, we don't have a lot of, like, we haven't had a lot of sports teams, and like basketball's always been huge with the Lobos, and football's getting more popular with the new coach and that kind of stuff. But I think from a sports aspect, I think the state has just been like wanting it, you know? And I think when you look at, youth, and you look at, as a state and where we are educationally and where we are in like child development, sports can be a huge avenue. And that was my avenue, right? And I think if we kind of, as a state, we looked a little bit more into sports, we could kind of help some of these team problems and some of the issues that we have. And you can build that community. It gives them a good reason to, say no to certain things and say yes to certain things, and broaden their horizons. And so that's kind of, I'm hoping that's where United is going, and kind of where the sports kind of in soccer can help the state, because I think we need it a little bit,
Yeah, like cleaning up the streets and people's behavior, and like that's a really good point, that you have to have a reason to say no to the drugs or the partying or the gang violence or whatever, to get you focused on something that is healthy.
Yeah.
And that community aspect of being part of a team and competing and
goal setting and all sorts of things, right?
Yeah. Well, because like, I don't know, I think of like Dennis Rodman and
Yeah.
Jordan or something. Like, he's unique, but like for the most part, elite level athletes, you look at soccer or Formula One or whatever it is, when someone's a champion at something, they are focusing their nutrition, their diet, their studying, their routines, their rituals, the people around them, their coaching. Everybody has a coach. It's like that. That does have a massive effect on people's education and their development and their sense of attitude for discipline.
Yeah.
How it affects and helps them. That's a good point. And I think it's contagious. It's like, growing quickly. I think United has played a lot into it, at least, but the concept you're saying about World Cup being in the United States, I've noticed it too. It's like every single game is on all the time. Like, my buddies texted me the other day and they're like, we're going to put the game on at the house. I was like, what game? Like,
it's 2:00 on a Tuesday.
It's not football season, dude. And it was my friends that, like, we usually talk about music, and I can't remember the last time I got invited to a soccer game at my friend's house with this group in the group message.
Yeah.
So that is happening. It's all in North America, Mexico, Canada, US, right? All of them. So you're obviously a big part of that in the state, and we're lucky there's these hidden gems and sources of talent and leadership. And I think you're obviously doing that, especially with your, your focus on the transition aspect, I think really is important. Yeah.
Trying to anyway.
It's pretty exciting, man.
Yeah.
Like, for you, how did you go from, like, I assume you played. I've seen you playing. You play when you coach. And did you ever have a moment where you wanted to play professionally? Have you ever gone down that path?
Yeah. So I grew up in North Carolina. And so sports in North Carolina, Michael Jordan had a house in my hometown. I grew up in Pinehurst. I grew up in Pinehurst, North Carolina, 30 minutes south from Chapel Hill. So when you're growing up, every single teacher, when you're going through English or whatever school, it's Michael Jordan got cut from high school. If he can do that and he can go to pro and be the best ever, you can do anything. And that's what every teacher taught us, right? Was that kind of story of like, you fall down, you get back up, you don't care, and you keep going. You prove them wrong kind of mentality. And so every year, that's what we were taught. And so sports is a very, very important thing. Like when you grow up, rural North Carolina, you don't have much else to do other than play sports. You have a lot of fields and you have a lot of space, open space. So you can play 6v6 football, or you can play soccer, you play basketball everywhere. And because Michael Jordan and all that area in North Carolina and Duke, you have all those Wake Forest, you have all the schools that are just, legends in the basketball. You have basketball courts everywhere. And we were kind of smart where we played that, but we also saw it as like, we can use it as a soccer pitch. We can play street soccer on it and that kind of stuff. And so
I started, on the court.
Yeah, on the court, right? And on the tennis courts and and just make use of it, right? And so I grew up playing every sport, and in the middle school, my parents were like, pick two kind of mentality. It's just
so you're playing every sport.
Yeah, playing every sport, pick two. And so I picked soccer and basketball, and that's what I focused on. Into high school, I'm not 6'7", and I'm not dunking all over the place. So I started being a little realistic of like, which sport can I go farther in? And soccer was definitely where I had more interest from college coaches and next level talent, like pro academies and that kind of stuff. And so I started playing elite level. And in North Carolina, we have Chelsea Academy. We have Villarreal Academy, which are both huge level European pro giants. And they have their eyes on players and they have coaches that come in. And so I was lucky to have, like when I was 12, my club coach played for Chelsea FC. He straight from London, got paid for shining shoes in the locker room kind of thing. And, he was able to kind of instill that level of culture from like a young age, which I was blessed to have. And so I grew up playing with those kind of coaches and that kind of mentality. So I played, 4 years of varsity in high school, played in the DA, which is not around anymore. Some soccer people will know what I'm talking about when I say DA, but it's kind of changed into like the MLS Next and ECNL, which is these elite level leagues. But I played in that back in the day, and then went to college and played in college and played for Little Ryan University, Division II. on like a full ride, and played there and had some injuries, and and tried to make my way into low level pro, and never really kind of broke through from a playing perspective like I wanted to, like nothing like MLS or anything super high level, but into pro academies. And that's when I started coaching, and I started coaching in college kind of as like a part-time gig. And that's when I realized, like, okay, like in coaching, my soccer brain is totally utilized, and my body's not failing me kind of mentality, where like I can't get to a ball, or I can't jump certain amount of level, or I can't run 9 to 12 miles a game or stuff like that, right? My hips are hurting, but my brain is still absolutely perfect, and my IQ is still super high. And so I started getting into coaching, and I started mentoring with some high level coaches. And I was like, okay, this is a way that I can stay in the game, and I can, and when you start getting into high level and you're playing in college or pros, it's all about longevity in the game. That's what a lot of guys talk about. Mm-hmm. How can you create longevity in the game, right? It's either playing, and can you get in and you can keep, your playing profile is super good so you can create longevity, or can you get in the game and create it a different way, right? And so that's kind of where I saw it as a way. And so I started coaching and just started mentoring and coaching for free, helping kids out, just kind of helping the college team that I played for free for a little bit, helping another college in Raleigh that I helped at for a little bit for free, and just learning. And then I moved out here, and I met some guys that were elite level coaches, like Justin Sells, who's won like 5 national championships from New Mexico, which is huge. And so I was really able to kind of see the pathway of like coaching at that next level, and just be a sponge, and just learn. And it's like any profession. Like you go in a profession, you need to mentor people that have done it, that guys that have been there and done that, so that you can take little pieces and create your own style. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years, 11 years.
That's awesome. Yeah, I like to think of it as like, I tell people not to take advice from people who haven't accomplished the exact specific thing that you've set out to do.
I always ask, like, what have you done?
You have to know, like, well, I want to be an elite level soccer coach. Mm-hmm. And so then that's who you get your mentorship from. And it goes for anything that you're taking advice on. Be careful to take advice from someone who hasn't accomplished it, right?
You got a lot of people that think they know.
So you said a few things. What is 66 football? You said something like football 66, or I don't know, something in North Carolina. I've never been to North Carolina.
Oh, yeah, Chelsea FC Academy, and then there's Villarreal Academy.
The academies.
Their academy. So Villarreal FC is out of Spain, Villarreal, Spain.
Okay.
And it's just a pro. You wear their kit. Their coaching methodology is from the top. Also, all their coaches are doing the same thing as the pro team's doing, or trying to. You're wearing their branding, their marketing, and you're part of that club. So there's opportunities if you're a high-level player to go to Spain and do trials and it's just so that they can have their hands on more players, so that when a star comes out, they're able to see it and be part of it. And the more youth clubs you have underneath you as a pro club, the more chances you are going to be of finding good pros, right? It's just numbers at that point, right? It's just statistics. So,
well, you're talking about longevity and a player profile. Like, what does that mean, player profile? How does a player profile affect a player's longevity?
Yeah, so when I say player profile, that means basically like who you are as a player. So it's like just like as a personal profile, like when you have to come in as like a job profile, like a resume of who you are. Same as a player profile. So are you good defensively? Are you good tactically? Are you good offensively? Are you a goal scorer? Are you are you a winger that likes to set up goal scorers? Are you a guy that's in the middle that's going to control tempo? Just stuff like that. There's different aspects of the game, and so it's like as a player who you are. Like are you a speedster? Are you more of a an aerial threat, where you're going to win the ball in the air on set pieces and that kind of stuff? Are you really good at playing, long balls on a dime piece, right? Like super accurately. Are you able to do that kind of stuff? And it's just who you are as like a player. And when you get in the higher levels, coaches have systems, right? And so you're going to look in your system, you're going to look for certain player profiles that fit that system. So if you're getting recruited, you got to know, okay, what's their system? Okay, where can I best get in? And it's just like you're getting a job, right? What kind of job, what kind of person do they need? Okay, well, I'm going to see if I can go fill that job for them. And then you get a job and you can move on from there, right? And so it might not be where you end up, but it might be where you start. And it might be totally out of your position, but that's how you're going to get in. So you're going to do it.
Is it kind of like turbo or rocket fuel, where like if you're a lead scorer, goal scorer, that it's easier to play mid and control the tempo for a longer career? Like, do star players have the same ability to play the same amount of years?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you look at some of these star players like Ronaldo, he's 41. Like, he's just done playing. That's insane. Like, that's not normal, right?
Yeah. What is, the mid-30s or?
Yeah. Like, I mean, 31, 32, you're going to start being like, okay, ow, like my body hurts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you hear of guys that are 35 to 40 still playing,
Unheard of.
And they're playing and you look at them and they're like freaks of nature, it's like, wow, and it's just what they do on the everyday basis of taking care of their bodies and that kind of stuff. But to your question, like, goal scorers are a dime a dozen, right? And I've as a coach, and a lot of coaches will probably relate to this. You get told all the time, oh, he's a goal scorer. He's a goal scorer. He's a goal scorer. He's so good at goal scorer. Then you get him on your team and he doesn't score any goals. And you're like, okay, what's going on here? Right? And so when someone says you're a goal scorer, it's hard. It's the hardest. It's, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And it's hard. And it's just the pressure and technique, and you got to slow your mind down because you get eyes all big. You're in front of the goal, and it's, and it's very much like hitting a wide open three at a buzzer beater. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy if you're just there, but when it's in the moment, it becomes way harder, right? That pressure. And you see it now in the World Cup.
Prepare for it. It only hits you.
They're doing all these PKs, and these guys are, class pros, and they're skying them. I mean, they're missing them terribly, and it's 12 yards.
It's because the whole world's watching. And it's because
the whole world's watching.
The whole pressure is on.
The pressure. So, if you're a goal scorer and you can score goals, you're going to last longer in the game just because you're going to be more valuable. And if you can score 2 goals a game, like, what coach wouldn't want you, So if you become a goal scorer, like, for young players, if you have that niche where you can sniff out goals in the box, you're going to probably be able to play a lot longer than someone who is the passer, right? And you hear a lot of players are like, oh, I'd rather set someone up. And it's like, that's not going to get you far. That's going to only get you so far because
not
you're going
to take cereal box at least, right?
Yeah, you want someone that can pass and take the goal. Right? Not just like, oh, I'm going to give someone else the moment. Yeah. Right? Like, you got to go take that moment for yourself, Yeah. Kind of dog mentality.
We have that a lot, like, where people want to get into insurance and, they see the house and the car or whatever, and they want to just help people answer their questions and have a bunch of knowledge about the industry. It's like, okay, well, you got to go close deals because that's how you feed your family. That's how I'm able to pay my staff is commission. So it's the same kind of idea. I think you need both. And in that game, it's like you're so quickly from one side of the field to the other side of the field. It's like, I don't know for sure, but it seems like everybody needs to be offense and defense mentality.
Multifaceted, right? You can't be one dimensional. And it's like anything in life, right? If you're one dimensional, it can only take you so far. Yeah. Right. And that's why I think sports are so good for people, because it does show you so many aspects that you can use in afterlife. Like, I still use things that I learned every day and that I learned playing in team sports. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it helps me in business. It helps me in all sorts of things, right? It helps me in relationships with people. It helps me with just societal things, right? And you can kind of tell when people haven't been through, or when they have been through, they have different qualities, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it's like anything.
That you're carrying the valuable lessons from your personal life into your relationships, and from your personal experience into your coaching. And like, do you think that the parents are, how much hands-on are parents in the coaching versus do you want them to be hands-off in the coaching, that kind of thing?
So it's tough. It's tough because obviously to those parents, the kid that you're coaching is their everything, right? That's their baby, that's their mijo, that's their kid, right? And so you have to put that perspective when you coach. And some coaches that don't have that, they just think parents are crazy, or that they're overbearing, or they don't think of it as that way. They don't think of it as like, well, put yourself in their perspective, right? Not only you're spending a lot of time with their child, so you're being a really big mentor in their life. It's a lot of hands-on time, and there's a lot of time where they're not there. So if they don't know who you are, that could be a little discerning, right? And they're also spending a lot of money because we're pay to play in the United States. At the end of the day, they're spending $5,000 to $15,000 to travel and to do all this stuff. It's a big sacrifice. So they want to know, if we're going to do this sacrifice, that we're going to not really get something out of it, but our kid is going to benefit from it, right? Because it's a big sacrifice. So some parents are, it's a spectrum, you know, some parents are super hands-on, and I usually have to have the conversation of like, look, like this is not so much your thing, this is their thing. And if you want them to really be successful, you got to let them do it. You know, and that means you got to like give them situations and settings where they can be successful. That doesn't mean you're just hands off and you don't care, right? It means you're putting them in situations where they can be successful, but they're doing it on their own, even though you're the ones who are coercing it, right? But they still make it feel like they're doing it, right?
Yeah. So you have kind of like a box or a guideline where it's like, here's the things where we want you to be involved in, and here's the things they need to learn alone.
Yeah,
you kind of
if they
learn
can,
that along
if
the
they
line.
can, like, let's say I'm coaching and it's a game setting, right? Well, when they travel home, who are they traveling with? They're traveling with their parents, right? The entire time. They're not traveling with me. So if they can come on the backside after what I just did, and they can come on the backside and reinforce that, reassure it, then then the kid's gonna be so much in a better situation.
Clever, because it's right away. What are they going to do? They're going to go download.
And they're gonna go talk about it. They're gonna go reflect about it. They're gonna go be about it, and then they're gonna think about it while they're sitting in the car in the back seat for 3 hours, or whatever it is, right? So if you can reassure and you can start adding some positive kind of reuniformities, or if they didn't play very well, you know, don't tell them they played well. Tell them like, hey, like I know you can do better than that. Like, what's up today? And figure out why it didn't happen. But don't tell them, hey, good job, because you're not helping them. And like I had a mentor that used to say it all the time. If your parents told you after today's performance you did a good job, they're lying to you. And like I'm not that straightforward, but it's true. You know what I mean? Like, and if they want you to be a competitor, like we're not at the dinner table, you know, we're competing. And if they want you to be competing and be a good competitor, then there needs to be those qualities of standards. And so it's just about doing it healthily and not like putting a bunch of pressure on them where they just crack, you know. Pressure makes diamonds or it busts pipes. So you're either going to create something nice or you're going to bust them.
Yeah, but the spirit of competition in a healthy, like we're trying to be the best we can be way, where there's sportsmanlike conduct and respect of people. That you said it right, that the purity is on the actual competition aspect of it, and it sounds like you have alignment with the parents, which helps with that, where it's like you're on the same page, so it's being reinforced. And there's more I want to unpack kind of with like how you take a loss and those kinds of things. But I'm wondering how much because there's got to be disappointment sometimes, and there's got to be advantages, just genetics and those kinds of things. How much is, in your opinion, the success of a player, how much of it is discipline and how much of it is talent? Discipline versus talent.
Discipline beats talent every single time. Like 10 out of 10 times, discipline beats talent. So like talent can only take you like so far. Like you have to have a certain amount of talent to be able to make it. You do. You have to have a certain amount of IQ, which soccer IQ, it's a learned behavior, but a lot of it is natural behavior. I'm a firm believer that like you see certain kids at a young age, they have it, they don't have it. And that's from a mental standpoint, not so much physical standpoint. And that's reading the game, reading the flight of the ball. And that's just, it's like processing power, I guess is the best way to put it. And if you can't process on the fly, like it's a thinking man's game, right? So if you can't process on the fly really quickly, you're going to struggle a little bit more. And that's really hard to like learn through discipline, right? Like you can work on some things and do some brain stuff, but it's really hard. Like touch and like everything with the actual like technical side of the game, that's could be all discipline, right? So if you're out there working with the ball 1,000 times a day, 1,001 touches on your right foot, 1,001 touches on your left foot, your touch is going to be better than someone who doesn't. That's just straight up. Right. So a lot of these guys that make it to the pros, like I've played guys and I've seen guys that aren't necessarily great with the ball, but because they're like, they work so hard off the ball and like defending and doing the little things, they earn a spot in that team. And then they are able to raise because they work harder than someone else. So that's going to make them, that's a coach is going to pick them up, you know? And it's at the end of the day, when you're playing in the pros, it's like, do you want to do it? That's where you're at. Like, how bad do you want to do it? Like, how bad do you want to be disciplined and not go out and go to the breweries and not go out and eat bad food and work out and to run every single day and to keep yourself in that fit and to sacrifice things that normal people get to do every single day? How much do you want to do it? And to only get paid, you know, 50 to 80 grand.
Yeah.
But you're living your dream. You know what I mean? Like
good
how
money
much
to a lot of people.
Yeah,
Pretty good money.
yeah, but that's a lot of sacrifice, right?
Sure.
So it's like where on the Europe you're making 400 grand a week, so it's like okay, that's a lot more worth it.
Yeah.
So you know, so
I
for
didn't
some
realize
guys,
the European soccer leagues they're making that much money.
oh yeah, like
That's
300 grand a
crazy.
week. Yeah.
So it's partly because it's more popular in Europe.
Oh
like
yeah, I mean, so players go for $115 million, right? That's just so like let's say you have a player. And you have a club, and I have a player, right? And you're like, hey, like Patrick, I really want that center mid. And I'm like, okay, you want my center mid? $100 million. You have to pay me before you can even talk to the player about contract. So before you can even talk to him about what you're going to pay him, you're going to pay me $100 million just the fact that I have
just
it.
the
And then I'll release
fee
him.
or
Yep, just the club fee because he's under contract with me.
club fee.
Yep. And it's a fine.
Oh,
Yep.
gosh.
So like you have transfer market fees, right? So you just have all of that. Where like if you look in the United States, like I think the record was. Actually, I don't know. I don't want to say it because I'm not going to quote myself on it. But it's nothing close. I mean, the European record was just broken. It's 115 million pounds. So we're way lower than that. Like 20 to 30 million is kind of where we're at in our leagues. The average is like 2 to 10 million for the average transfer market player. In the Premier League, it's like 20 to 100.
Wow.
Like most of the average is for like a starting player is like 60 to 80 million.
Yeah.
You know,
Just to touch the paper.
just to talk to him.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's, you know, how bad do you want to do
if you
it?
can find a way from the 80,000 to the 100 million,
Yeah.
then you hit
Just
the
one
lottery.
move.
Well,
One move.
You worked hard to get there.
Yep. One move, you know?
I think you said it with sacrifice is a good word because it's what you're willing to give up. I thought of it like this early on where I posed a question to myself is like, what would I be willing to do to have everything that I want?
Right.
And I would think about it, I ruminated on it, and the answer I came up with was whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so if you have that mentality, like,
Yep.
I'm going to do whatever it takes to become an elite level player, then, you know, I guess there's hope for the people that don't have the speed and the logic and the reflexes and the innate God-given talent, because if they just, like you're saying, it's 1,000 touches a day.
And it's one of the few sports like NBA. All right. If you're not 6'3" and above,
Yeah.
like, let's be real. Are you going to play in it? Probably not. You better be super athletic, like, you know, Muggsy Bogues at 5'10", whatever, dunking or whatever it was. Hey, like, you better be like freak of nature,
about him.
right? Something like that. Because, you know, I mean, you go to an NBA game, everyone's, whoo. I mean, they look, you can't tell on TV because everyone's the same height, but you go there and you're like, holy. Same with NFL. I remember when I saw Cam Newton for the first time, I was like, geez, he's like towering over his offensive lineman.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so like if you're going to be a quarterback, you got to be at least 6'3", 6'4", so you can see over the lineman. So there are certain, like other sports, there's a lot of biology that has to happen. In soccer, it's not necessarily the same. And I think that's what also makes it so popular is because like the normal guy can make it, you know?
In terms of height.
Yeah, height, weight.
You gotta have ridiculous stamina. Like,
yeah, like NFL, like you got to be a ridiculous athlete to make it to NFL.
Yeah.
Unless you're like kicking, which you still have to be ridiculous at.
I think
right?
most of the football players are going to fall over, though, if they had to run the same amount as a soccer player.
Well, yeah, for miles wise.
players.
Yeah, but at the same time, you got linemen that are running like 4.40s.
That's so quick.
You know, it's so insane.
To be that large.
So it's so insane.
It's like a rhino coming at you.
Yeah, like a fridge moving that
hippos,
fast.
Where you're like, wait, how fast are hippos? They're like, they
40
can
miles
run
an
like
hour.
40, yeah, over 40. They outrun you.
Freaking terrifying. But
That's
so,
crazy.
you know, from a sports standpoint, you don't necessarily have to have the God-given to make it.
Genetics, like
the
a
genetics.
bodybuilder.
So from a kid's standpoint, it's like, I can go do that.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, they're running around. They're quick already. They're already dribbling through an adult's legs. Like it's a very kid, like, you know, it's fun. I did a little bit of soccer training when I was younger. I played a lot of basketball when I was a kid and definitely more football. But so what about, okay, so the height, did you see this thing? What was it, Germany, Ecuador, where the guy got kicked in the face and they're heading and all these rules. And Like, what was your take on that clip? Did you see?
I don't know if I saw that.
It was like it grazed his face or something.
Right. There's been a lot of calls like
that. What's the rule with if you're kicking and heading at the same time? It's just like
yeah. So I mean, there's violent conduct, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's like if you like mean to do it. So that's like I'm looking at your head going down, and then I take my foot and I see it
intentionally.
Right? That's intentionally. And then you got like reckless play, which is like you didn't mean to, but you still kicked them. And that's like a yellow card, right?
Yeah.
But like violent conduct or serious foul play, like that's red card material, you know?
Yeah.
And so you're gonna get kicked out. You're gonna be gone for another game after that. Like it's your team's a man down. Like it's big. It's you know, and to get a straight red, you gotta do something pretty serious.
I saw these things.
And there's been a couple of them.
I went to the May United game. They played Tampa, and it was the first experience for me where they're like, that was your first, you know, they would say the law firm red card of the night or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, is that a new thing in sports? Because I saw it again with another branding thing. It was like, that was the free throw brought to you by so-and-so.
Yeah, they do like corner kicks brought you by like Casamigos. And then, and soccer didn't used to be like that. And I think like Liga MX kind of changed that where like they have...
What's Liga MX?
It's like Mexico. Mexico's Liga MX. It's
like, League.
Yeah, it's like League Mexico.
Mexi,
yeah. Yeah, MX. It's like their top league. It's like their MLS. It's the best way to put it. And they opened up the door for sponsors to be like everywhere. Like they got a sleeve, they got chest, the shorts.
It's like NASCAR.
Everywhere. Oh, it's like, it's just like NASCAR. And they open it up to everywhere. Like the back has the jerseys all over it. And so that's kind of where it started, where they started doing corner kicks. Goal kick brought to you by this brand.
Looking
and like
for
red
more.
Card brought you this brand.
Well, you seem pretty business savvy and pretty marketing savvy. So I think there is still a nuance to it. The more I learn about marketing and the more I see like creative things, we were talking about one the other day, the guys with Red Bull, when they first started the company, there's this anecdote or story, fable, whatever you want to call it. I think it's true, but like they would go to these events, big events, and after the event, like as the event's closing and they're egressing and all the fans are leaving, they would literally litter like Red Bull cans on the ground so that when they left that people would see it and be like, what's this thing? And what this stuff's everywhere. And then maybe the people that stock the product. And like, I thought that was a fascinating idea and tactic. One, because I don't think of it too much as littering, because what's the first thing you do is you go crack all the signs and tents down. And then a big old cleaning company comes and they sweep everything up and it's in a fenced area. So it's not quite as ridiculous. It's annoying if you're the ones having to pick it up. But I also made an association for the first time the other night when I was telling my friends about it, that like I was hanging out with a friend who works for Berkshire Hathaway, and I just thought about Warren Buffett. I was like, that's what Warren Buffett used to do. He'd go to because they said, they're like, they probably saw those and they're like, oh, we need to buy more of that next time for the actual booths.
Wow, we really ran through all these.
And Warren Buffett used to go to the Coke machine. My dad told me about this when I was a kid. I just got really interested. This was his investing advice, was he would go to the Coke machine, was where he learned about investing, and then he would see which soda people were buying the most of, and he says, well, I got to start investing in Coca-Cola. Because everybody's buying Coca-Cola. Yeah. So I thought that was fascinating.
That's smart. I mean, you're getting the product in front of people, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just how you get the product in front. That's the gist of it.
Like, I know you can spend X amount of dollars on a billboard, for example. Or when I started coaching, I've coached agents to be successful agency owners and successful agents, quite a few of them at this point. And one of them, he was like, they want $1,900 to run this radio ad, right? And so I'm teaching people like how to get a return on investment, because I learned a little bit about it. I was like, well, how many, they call it a spot run. Like, how many times do you get it played? And what hours is it getting played? Is it peak hours? Right. How many people are paying attention to it?
Is it 2 a.m.?
Exactly.
3 a.m.?
These are the kinds of things you want to know
or is
about
it 6 p.m.?
when you spend your money on marketing. Yeah, exactly. Is it 2 a.m. or is it 6 p.m.? And so he was like, well, it's one time. I was like, $1,900 for one
Oh my gosh.
1:30. It was a 30-second spot run. Wow. So, well, how many people are going to be listening to it? Like, I can't justify that necessarily at your stage of the career, which is also important. Like when you're first starting out.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's a lot of things, a lot of ways you can market yourself for free when you're first starting. Right.
Yeah.
So I guess like in my mind, I was like, that must be a really good investment still, because imagine if you could convince a stadium or something to do a new one, or like,
yeah,
it's like, that's the first Doritos 3-point shot of the night or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I know that like the Lakers, like they have like, I think it's a certain taco. I don't think it's like Taco Bell. I think it's an actual taco restaurant. And if they break 100 points, like everyone gets a free taco. Like
awesome.
They give out like free things. And like think about the marketing for that company now. Everyone at a Lakers game is getting a free taco. They're not just going to come in and get one free taco. They're going to get one free taco and then buy a lot of other stuff.
They're going to talk about your brand.
Talk about your brand, about how cool that is, about how they give out free tacos, and they're going to come back and do it. You know?
Yeah.
So like stuff like that, you know, is big. And I think like I also coach a pro team, Santa Fe Gloom out of Santa Fe.
Yeah.
And that's something that David does really well. Like our games are free. So like anyone can come in, and then, you know, we have little kind of businesses that we kind of push on to kind of help us, and we help them. And so we make it a whole kind of community event for Santa Fe, which is different. And that's kind of like United, like what they kind of started, but now it's, you know, you go to the game and it's $20 for a pizza and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But Isotopes is expensive.
Concessions, sponsorships, how you make your money, but everybody gets to come for free. So you're not pricing people out of it.
Yeah, exactly. So it is pretty cool. It's kind of different, but it's futsal, so it's a little bit different. It's not outdoor.
I saw that, and I felt kind of like, I was like, am I the only one who doesn't know?
No.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, no, you're not the only one.
So what's the deal with that?
So it's 5v5. It's indoors. It's on a basketball court. It's huge in like South America, in Europe, and U.S. soccer is finally getting smart. Like I grew up playing it all the time. They're finally getting smart where they're like, okay, so like Spain, Brazil, you know, Germany, these teams that are world class, they're playing futsal with their kids their entire career. We're not doing any of that. They're doing 3v3 to 5v5 when they're like 5 to 9, right? So it's a lot of like, you can't hide, right? If you're in 3v3, everyone's got to touch the ball. All 3 kids have to touch the ball. They all have to defend. They all have to be part of the team, right? Well, in our country, we do 9v9. Well, you got 3 kids playing and 6 that are standing around like looking up at the ground or picking grass. You know what I mean? Standing around like, you know, the type, right? Yeah. And so you got a lot of kids that kind of fall through the cracks. And so you're only getting 1/3 of your kids that are actually doing anything, right? So 2/3 of your kids are just there, right? And so U.S. Soccer finally got smart and was like, oh, okay, this is how they're doing it. This is why their players at this level are so much better technically, and they're better with the ball, and they're so flashy and creative. It's because they play this their entire life, right? So it's 5v5. It's a smaller court. The goals are smaller, and the ball is smaller. And it's also weighted. So because you're on a court, like if you played it with a regular ball, it'd be bouncing all over the place. So this ball, when it bounces, it's like, I think it's about a pound. So when it bounces, it just goes boom, and it just stops on the court. So it's nice, and so the ball sticks kind of, and so you get a lot of creativity.
How much is a regular ball weigh?
Like 9 to 12 psi, right? So I don't know what that relates to.
Yeah,
but it's probably a little bit less than that. So it's pretty bouncy.
How much bigger are we talking about?
It's about half
size.
Yeah, so it's about,
and adults. Pro, it's a pro level adult.
Yeah, so there's only 2 sizes.
5v5 that you're talking about, but there's versions of it, the 3v3 and the 5.
Yeah, like youth, you play smaller, but pro, and then once you get over like 10 years old, it's all 5v5.
Harder than regular?
So much harder.
Yeah,
so much harder, and that's why as a coach, it's like it was such an awesome opportunity to take it on last season as my first season, because one mistake they score. Outdoor, you make a mistake, okay, you have some time where you can fix it here. Okay, maybe you fix it here. You have some time before, unless you like make a mistake right outside the box, right? But you have some other things that can happen that you can try to save it before it goes in. Futsal, if you like miss your guy and they play at the second post, it's a goal. Like,
is it higher scoring?
So much higher scoring. Yeah. So like our games were like 11-7,
wow,
11-9, 13-11, like 6-4. So it's super high action, super fast. So like if you're like a soccer fan, it's like, all right, I like it, but like, why is it only 0? Why is it 1-0?
Yeah, 0-0.
90 minutes and it's 0-0. Like
0-1 in the game I went to see, but it was a lot.
Killing me.
It was a lot of fun because of the culture and the, the feeling in the air. It's one of those sports for me though, like even basketball's gotten to that point where it's like it on screen, especially when you're on the far angle and it's like the big field.
Yep.
It's a lot more fun in person and got the bug. That seems like that element of action with the futsal seems like
it's cool. So it's very up and coming. Yeah, we average close to like 300 to 500 fans a game.
That's great.
It's like, and we play at like Santa Fe High or like the Geneva Chavez Center, the community center up in Santa Fe.
Yeah.
And then we pack it, with the bleachers and chairs.
You might have answered my question with like the main difference between soccer and futsal strategically. You're saying you make one mistake and then someone scores. Is there anything else that's like, okay, well, this is big in terms of how you had to shift the way you were coaching?
It's, regular soccer's throw-ins. This one's kick-ins. So when the ball goes out, you put it on the line and you got to kick it in. So that's a little bit tougher. So you can get like set pieces off of that where you like the guy comes up and then he like fakes like he's only at 4 seconds. He like fakes he's going to do it. Then he runs and the guy comes and plays him, right? And then you have to like, mark the guy that's coming off the field basically. So it's very quick. So you have a lot of that. You have a lot of like set plays, set pieces. You have like screens. It's basically like soccer, basketball, and hockey all came together.
Cool.
You have free-flowing subs like hockey.
It's almost a completely different way of thinking.
Yeah, you can pull the keeper and go fifth and go like and have an extra man and go fifth man, pull the keeper and put a field player in, and then it's 5v4 because it's like it's 5v5, 4 and a keeper. So then you can pull the keeper just like hockey, and now you're 5v4, and now you have a man up, but there's no keeper, so if they win the ball, they can score.
Yeah.
But it's so you get like some of that stuff
and
going too.
The distance between the goals is shorter, right?
Yeah, it's like a basketball court.
Yeah.
The same size as a basketball court.
Wow.
So
pretty close.
Pretty close. Pretty close. It's tight. And so you get man-to-man marking. You can do zone marking. You can do block marking. Like it's way different. And so it's different, but then there's only so many ways to do it inside of the sport, if that makes sense. Right. So like it's different, but once you kind of learn the gist of it, it's like, okay, there's only so many ways to like skin the cat here. Mm-hmm. There's only so many ways to score because like it's so tight. You know, you either got to beat someone and hit it, or you got to kind of combine and connect and second post. Okay, tap in kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Someone's sleeping on the backside, and it's a lot like basketball where you're looking for layups, right? Someone gets sleeping on the backside cut, and then the guy lays it in. Just like that was futsal. Backside cut, guy gets the ball, boom, goal.
So are you coaching youth, high school, pro, and kind of like throughout all the way up, moving people?
Yeah, so with my teams, the 2 teams I coach are both professional. I don't coach any youth teams anymore. I just do that privately. I used to coach youth teams. I used to work for the
teams
Rapids.
Versus one-on-one or
like group, or like small group,
private,
small group. Mm-hmm. And I just wasn't making an impact. I had some personal things going around with the youth, and I was coaching like 4 teams. I was traveling, like I was gone every weekend: Phoenix, Salt Lake, California, Texas, Colorado, every weekend. Like I had no social life. I was exhausted. And so I needed to step back.
Describe it as being glamorous and, hardworking.
My dog was like, where are you?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? So I needed to step back personally and just take a break. And so I took off for about 6 months. And then these 2 teams and I was doing my private things, and I realized that I wasn't making the impact in the youth game that I wanted to, because the teams that I was coaching, it was so much travel that you kind of had to be a certain demographic to play on those teams because you had to pay to travel to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't really coaching like the best players in New Mexico or like the players that I wanted to coach in New Mexico, because you had to be able to pay for it, which is soccer. And that's a whole bigger issue that I'm not going to be able to fix myself. But here I wanted to make a bigger impact, right? And so I wasn't making that impact. And so I kind of wanted to see like, okay, how can I make a bigger impact of like helping kids go to the next level and stay there? Because I've coached so many kids through high school, they get into college their freshman year, and then 6 months later I see them working on like a roof back home, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it didn't work out for me, and now I'm working with dad. It's like, God, man, come on. You were so good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, how can I make more of a lasting impact?
Well, my wife had a experience where she was like, she's equestrian. She does hunter jumper. And
yeah. My mom did that.
Really?
Yeah.
So you know exactly what it is.
She did 3-day eventing, but
eventing.
Yeah, similar. Yeah.
Yeah. So eventing is kind of like
Very cool.
more fun version of hunter jumper.
Yeah. Mom did like dressage too. So like, it's more simple hunter jumpers.
Where you're showing off the horse, and then they have different colored obstacles that you jump over. And in eventing, they have more fun obstacles, and like you have to take the certain amount of strides with the horse in between each jump and those kinds of things. And she was gonna go down like a professional track for that, and her parents encouraged her to stay in school and do that. I had an instance where one of my staff members came to me and they were like, well, I'm going to go into school. I'm going to start doing school, studying math while I'm doing insurance. And he's like, but I've been thinking about it. Some time passed. And he's like, I think I'm going to drop out and just focus on insurance. And instead of like giving him my feedback, like, or my opinion, I had an opinion, but I didn't give it. I just, I just said, I was like, well, what does your mom think? What would your mom say? What does your mom think about that idea? He's like, my mom thinks I should drop out. I was like, well, all right. And he's ended up being very successful. Like, do you have stories? I guess I want to give you a 2-part question. Do you have stories about those kinds of people where their parents maybe pulled them away and they had a lot of potential? Obviously, this one person who's working in roofing. Nothing against roofers, obviously.
No, but probably makes more money than me.
Roofers can make
but he had a lot of potential.
A lot of money. It's crazy.
It might have been more fun to play
you
soccer.
You might have more fun. So stories about people with a lot of potential, I guess. Maybe their parents said another way. And then who do you think is like, in your eyes, who has the most potential? Like, is there a specific person that you think you're like, this guy's going to be a soccer superstar
out of New Mexico? Yeah. So definitely, like, there's definitely those that were like super intelligent and cerebral, and so they had opportunities to go to like MIT, and it's like, you can go to MIT and go to school, or you can go play Division II soccer. You're good, but like, I think you should go to MIT. Yeah. That's going to set you up for like way more success. And so from a coaching standpoint, like, sometimes
robots that play soccer.
Yeah,
now.
Exactly.
You see those videos where the robots.
Exactly. And so for me, like, sometimes as a coach, it's my job to tell them like, hey, maybe you should do that. You know what I mean? And even if I'm a soccer coach, I'm still helping them be successful. You know what I mean? And they're still taking what they learned and what we did and then impacting it. But if that makes more sense to them,
part of that carrying the character with you, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want you to be naive here at the same time, right? Like, if you have an opportunity that is better for you, then you should probably take it. But you also have, since you have in New Mexico, and then you have like such a family aspect of things, you do have a lot of players that don't want to leave because they don't want to leave their family, because they feel like if they leave their family, then they're not going to be able to see them as much or be around them as much or help them with the household stuff or with the kids or with money. And so it's like a very mature, like, they have to make a mature, they're 17, 18 years old, making a very mature decision.
Almost like religion or culture comes into the play there, and your ethical stuff. That's one of those, I guess, sacrificing how bad do you want it?
Yep, exactly.
There's got to be a sweet spot.
And so you have a lot of times the families, my family pushed me to go do it, right? Like, go play, go do it. Their families are very much like, they don't want them to leave. And so that's a very interesting kind of situation that happens a lot in New Mexico. And it's not everything, but it does happen more often than it doesn't. So that's probably like the closest, or like the thing that comes to mind when you ask, like, if their parents held them back, that kind of stuff. And, it's a good reason, right? Like, your family's your family, right? So if that's the reason why you're staying, like, I'm not gonna, can't say anything about it, right? So it's very similar, but it is one of those things that it's like, man, like, that's interesting. You know what I mean? Like, and how bad do you want it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it
always comes back to it.
Couple of things that people go through in your life where you're like, okay, well, screw that, let's get to work.
Yeah,
and then there's some things when they tell them to you, you're just like, oh, like, well,
right.
like, what am I supposed to say?
What am I supposed to say? If I say anything other, I'm going to be kind of an asshole.
Yeah, soccer is everything, but
it's a sport.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. But so there's that.
Just like work and business. Like, it's important to get a deal done, but like, we're not going to do anything crazy. Like, we don't need it that bad.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then, second part. So there was a player, he just came from New Mexico Rapids. He just signed with Colorado Rapids with the Pro Academy. His name's Cruz Tamori. He went to Albuquerque Academy. That's
Cruz
probably
Tamori.
Yep. That's probably he's a 2010. He's probably the biggest one. He just signed, and he had multiple academies that were looking at him. So that's a big player. There's a lot from that team. I think they were just like 12th in the nation, something like that. So like I coach a couple of those guys still. They're really, that's a good team. And there's a couple teams like that. There's a team that's a 1 year above them. That's I think like 9th in the nation. Also from the same club from New Mexico Rapids. It's also super high achieving, and they have a couple players that are probably going to go Division I as well. So you have a couple players that that have a real talent, that you should keep an eye on. And, in United all the time, like I've coached probably half of the United Academy team has come from my old club, New Mexico Rush, who I used to coach for, and I used to coach a lot of those guys.
Wow.
And so it's awesome to see, like, we play the academy in like a scrimmage, and I'm seeing all my old guys, and they're all giving me hugs afterwards, and it's like, wow, like 2/3 of the starting lineup played for us. That's awesome.
That's exciting.
And so United's
a big deal.
Yeah, and I think if they ever went pay to play, I think they would really run it. I think if they ever went all the way down as a youth club, I think they would do really well. I think all the best clubs, all the best players would want to play for them. I think it'd be really hard for the other clubs to compete against them, but at the same time, like they're giving them a pro pathway that these other clubs don't have. So can you fault them for that? And can you fault the kids for going there? No. I mean, they're just, you can't be mad at them for getting more opportunities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you are mad at it, why don't you start one? That's how I look at it. You know what I mean? Like if you're so mad at it, start your own pro club. Change it. So I think United is doing a really good job. There's a lot of guys on that team, on the academy team, that are now, like there's a couple, like Winston Starr just scored for United the other night against the international game. He just scored the third goal. Like he's from La Cueva, like I think they moved here. It's Star Brothers Brewery. I don't know if you know them. That's his family.
Yeah.
So
we go
big
there
family. Yeah.
For insurance stuff all the time.
Yeah, they're big. Yeah, big soccer place.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep, that's their kid. He just scored for United. So.
We bring our district, our territory managers, and like we have meetings there all the time. And one time I asked us all, do we insure this place? Is it like somebody's buddy? And they're like, no, it's just a convenient central location. So I was like,
it's in the Heights.
Cool. So
that's right here. That's cool. Yeah, we used to do a lot of like when I worked for the club, we would do a lot of club events there, fundraising and do stuff like that. So like he's just scored, and they've been playing, and United's been playing like 4 or 5 of those academy guys. So it'd be cool to see those guys maybe make the jump into United and stay around here. I think that's the goal, because like it's awesome for Cruz to go up to Colorado, but at the same time, we're losing them.
They're going away.
We're losing them, and Colorado they have homegrown rights with New Mexico Rapids because they're like an academy, like an affiliate, and that's part of it is that pathway and sending them up to that higher level, because at the end of the day, Colorado is higher than New Mexico United. So it is from a pathways perspective, it's offering more.
It's a future.
Yeah. But you want to see these kids stick around, right?
Find a way to
stick around. And you want United. And for my goal when United first came around, because I moved here the same year that United was formed. So it was like I lived here for like 4 or 5 months, and then boom, they formed. And they.
What year was that?
2018, 2017, 2019.
So quick. Yeah.
It's one of those. It's one of. I think it's like 2017, 2018, 2019.
10
it's one
years
of those.
Coming up.
Yeah, I've lived here for 8 years, and it was around that first year that I moved here.
Yeah.
And so you want. My hope for them is that that's the club for New Mexican players. Right, that's the hope, and I know it's hard. You can't have a totally full club, full of New Mexican players, because you have to get talent and you have to have pros, right? And I get that, and you have to have certain. But it'd be cool if like 1/3 of the roster was from New Mexico, or like half of the roster was from New Mexico, and stuff like that. And I think they're trying to get there. So
Increase
that's cool.
It steadily.
Yeah.
Well, how many people are on the roster and? Because you said there's at least 4 to 6 or something.
In the academy, yeah. So I think on the actual roster, so like Sergio Rivas, who's like our GM for Gloom, he was the long time. He's born and raised here. He played for them and started for them. He's one of my good friends. He played for them for 5 or 6 years. So there was him, and then there was Arturo Astorga, who isn't playing for them anymore, and then there's Christian Nava, and he still plays for them. So I think there's only one that's like currently like born and raised from here. That's
everybody
on
else
the first
is
team.
Out of state.
Everyone else is from out of state. Yeah,
try to bump it up a little bit.
So I think that's the academy. That's the hope, right? The academy is you get those players that you can foster a professional environment, and they're feeding the first team, They're training with the first team if they're excelling here, and they're training, and then they're in that environment, and then hopefully they can raise their level, and then they can make it into the first team,
Yeah.
But it's hard, How bad do you want it?
What about the top level is Major League Soccer, right? Like you were talking about Ronaldo getting older.
Yep.
Isn't there something about Messi?
Yep.
Isn't he like on the MSL and he wasn't before or something?
Yeah, he's in MLS. Yeah, he
MLS.
came here. Yeah, he came here in the MLS like 2 or 3 years ago. And he left, European football to do it. I think he was playing in Paris, and he left, and it was a big
He's
move.
Playing in the United States now.
Yeah, he plays in Miami. Yep,
Yeah.
He's been playing in Miami, and the ticket sales went. Whew, I mean, it was crazy. And it's been great for the league because star power, and then he's bringing in more other European guys. That he's telling them no, it's a good league to come play in. If you're done, if you don't have any other European offers, come play in this league. They'll pay you well. The stadiums are nice. The facilities, the training facilities are really nice. The travel's nice. And it's a nice place to play. So come play here. Where in the 90s, the MLS was a rough place to play. Early 2000s, it was kind of rough. It was stadiums weren't great. The training facilities are training on whatever pitch they could find. You know what I mean? It wasn't like now where you have professional level.
It's come a long way.
It's come a long way.
The United States is really becoming a soccer country.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We definitely weren't
I think
before.
it just overtook. I think it's either second or third most popular sport in the country now.
Yeah.
So I think it overtook baseball, which was
whoa.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Huge.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's overtook. Yeah, it's the second or third. It's up there now, and it's growing.
Who do you think is the next, up and coming major league?
Oh man, from here
is going to be just in general. Just in general. Well, maybe that people don't not an obvious choice, or if you had to guess. We'll end with a couple of prediction questions, I guess.
Yeah, man, that's hard. I mean. You got a couple guys that are 17 that are coming in the mix, 16.
At their age.
Yeah, their age, and they're 16, 17. They're coming in the league, and they're playing. You got Kevin Sullivan, who is 15,
a lot of
16.
time between. They're playing major league at 16 years old?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, same with USL. There's a guy that plays for Sac Republic. He starts for Sacramento. Same level as United. He's 17. Starting right in the middle, and he's has the ball
much
the whole
potential,
game.
But also a lot of
time
you
where
get
things
injured
can mess up.
or things could get changed. You get a lot of stuff going through your
and that's
head,
kind of what we're seeing with the leagues. If you're old enough, if you're good enough, you're old enough. That's kind of the saying these days.
Good enough, you're old enough.
If you're good enough, you're old enough. So you have Chris Rigg, who's in Europe, who's
that's a lot different because
16 playing in the
basketball.
Prem.
Don't you have to be 18?
Yeah, Well, you have to go. You have one and done, right? You have to go to college.
They have to go to college.
You have to go to college for 1 year. Soccer, you can sign at 13. If you're good enough, 13. And there's kids that sign with pro academies that
wow.
I mean, Messi signed at 7.
7 years old?
Yep. New boys.
To the major leagues?
No, he was in Argentina. I mean, pro in Argentina.
Pro.
Yeah. New
that's
boys.
Crazy fact.
7 years old.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah. So that's why some of these families are oh, my kid's going to be Messi. I'm but he's 15.
Yeah.
He would already be signed by now. He's 8 years late.
Yeah.
That
makes sense. Why it's the youth are so important to it. And we were talking about it, being natural feeling thing to do for kids and being so community.
And that's something in Gloom, we're trying, and that's the professional realm I'm in. I have a 16-year-old, and we had 14 and 15-year-olds that came and trained with us.
Yeah.
So we're trying to get in that same realm too, because it just offers, if we can show kids look, this is it. Now you can see it. You're gonna want to do it more, right? I had kids that were older than me that were playing in college or playing pro, and so I saw it. I saw guys that I knew that were coming from my high school or the rival high school, and we're going straight into pro academy. So you can see it, and when you can see it, it's a lot more obtainable, and you can want to do it more, and you have a lot more motivation.
Yeah.
And out here, it's proof.
Something about proof. I should teach people about confidence. It's the seeing that someone else has done it. Literally, it's sometimes it's show me the bank account when you're trying to show somebody. You can start doing insurance. Look, here's how much money you can
eye
make.
Test.
Yeah,
that's what I call it. The eye test.
Show me. Yep. Yeah. Or just accomplishing one thing, showing yourself that you can do it. That's what confidence is. Knowing that when you set out to do it, you've done it before. So Alex Ramosi calls it. He says irrefutable proof is what confidence is. Yeah. All right. Well, we're coming up on an hour. It's probably right on an hour. I'd like to respect your time. Before you get out of here, though, if you have to guess, let's World Cup winner. Who wins the World Cup?
I'm gonna say France.
France?
Yep. I think France looks the most deadly.
We're going into quarterfinals, right?
Yep.
There's
France, Morocco,
like
Argentina, Switzerland.
4 matches, or 8 teams.
8 teams. Yep.
You think it's France?
I think so. Yeah, and it's like England and Norway. I think it's like England, Norway, France, and Morocco. And Morocco looks really good, and that's like a kind of a sleeper. But I don't think they're going to beat France, so they're not going to make it. Right? It's all about like how you get there.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be the same as last World Cup, which is kind of not fun, but I think it's going to be France, Argentina.
Oh, the same competitors.
Same exact 2 teams. Yep. France, Argentina.
Is he the France superstar?
Mbappe.
Yep,
Mbappe. Yep. Mbappe, Dembele, Elise. I mean, they're stacked. And then their defense is stacked. Their keeper's stacked. They're deep. Good coaching staff. They score goals at will. You know, I don't see another team. I mean, and I think Argentina will get there just because... Argentina, they're deep too.
You think Norway's losing their next game?
I don't know. I think Norway might beat England, but I don't think they'll beat. Like they'll have to go against Argentina. If Argentina beats Switzerland, and I don't think they'll beat them.
Are you watching every single game? Are you like a World Cup super fan?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying.
Where do you watch the games?
It's hard. Yeah,
to keep up with
because of work and everything. But Fox Sports is mobile, so if you need to, you just put it on your phone, put your ear pod in, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
I
had a family dinner one time where it was Bo Nix in the.
Oh, there you go.
In the playoffs, it was like gonna be them and the Seahawks, and I had my glasses. I put my Ray-Ban glasses on, and I just played it like at dinner with the family and look at my phone.
That's cool. That's awesome.
This is awesome. Thanks for not making me feel like a soccer idiot. And I think you're an asset to New Mexico. I think it's exciting what's happening here. I think people need to pay attention.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I think if sports becomes a little bit more, like I said earlier, like I think sports could be a tool for us to use to really benefit our state. Like I think we could really, if we put a little bit of time and money and some effort into it, like I think arts is great, right? I think it's awesome, but that doesn't fit every kid. It doesn't fit every person. Music doesn't fit every person. You have to have a little bit of everything. Arts, music, sports, some stuff so that everyone can find their niche, and then they're not on the streets or looking for other niches that are bad, right? Or like just filling time, because
just having a reason to choose one thing.
Yeah,
over
to be
the
busy.
Other,
have a reason to be busy too. Something to make you busy, that you don't have all this free time where you're just like, well, I'm bored, so I'm gonna go do something stupid.
Idle hands are the devil's playground.
Exactly. So
you have a great point about sports and investing in sports leading to a better community and a safer place for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a great metaphor and a great title, I guess, for the show, man.
There you go. Awesome.
It's been awesome. Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it.
Do you want to leave people with some information about how to find you? Like if you want to use your Instagram or anything like that?
Yeah. My Instagram, I'm Coach Patrick Schmitt. It's on there. You can go on my Instagram or any of the social medias, and if anyone wants to come out and train and just pick my brain or use me as a resource, I'm more than open to it. That's why I'm here. And that's what I want to be for people. So
Coach Patrick Schmitt. All right. Awesome. Catch you on the next one, guys. Thanks for listening.